Hello there. Well, it looks like the Prime Minister will need a very soft cushion to sit on this evening after both the Speaker Lindsay Hoyle and the Labour leader Keir Starmer tore him a new one at PMQs today. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. Well, didn't things get fruity in Prime Minister's questions this lunchtime? And after being pulled up very firmly a couple of times by the Speaker Lindsay Hoyle, the Prime Minister looked more rattled than Jacob Marley's chains. And I'm wondering if this is the first time a Prime Minister had left the chamber looking like they'd picked up a new orifice. Now, Boris looked to be comfortable at first, but as soon as Keir Starmer got onto the Owen Paterson affair and the PM's lack of an apology, Boris started getting heated under the collar. Now, Starmer did call Johnson a coward during the debate, but he was forced to retract that later, but with no real damage to his case. Boris was firmly ensconced in number 10 with an over 80-seat majority. But is it gonna last? It's now obvious that the PM is feeling rather exposed over this Tory sleaze Owen Paterson affair, with every day bringing more revelations and allegations of possible or probable under-the-table dealing by Tory MPs. And Keir Starmer was having a field day with this today, despite attempts by Boris to deflect attention onto Starmer himself over his separate earnings whilst an MP. And the flack is not just from the opposition. Some of the PM's own backbench MPs are now showing their more rebellious side, all because they see their boss, Boris Johnson, caving into the left and looking like he'll be out to terminate their lucrative second employment schemes. Oh yes, these people don't seem to be able to manage on an 82,000 quid plus expenses MP salary. Now, MPs' jobs are actually considered as part-time, because ministers' jobs are also considered part-time. Therefore, the only MPs working full-time on their jobs in the House of Commons are those who are also ministers. Hence, while twiddling their thumbs on Fridays and during all those long recesses they enjoy, MPs are constantly casting about for other ways of boosting their measly stipends. But this afternoon they could be faced with voting their second jobs out of existence. Now, many of these MPs have one or more of those consultancy positions, and they're very worried that this will tar them with the Owen Paterson brush. They see Boris as now engaging in friendly fire, blue-on-blue action to try and clean up his image at their expense. With one Tory MP quoted in the Times as saying, "He's caved into the left. Now if you have a consultancy, it will be assumed you are evil." And it's not helped by Boris writing to the Speaker of the Commons, Lindsay Hoyle, with proposals from a 2018 report for changes in the MP's Code of Conduct, including any outside activity undertaken by an MP, whether remunerated or unremunerated, should be within reasonable limits and should not prevent them from fully carrying out their range of duties. And also that MPs should not accept any paid work to provide services as a parliamentary strategist, advisor or consultant. For example, advising on parliamentary affairs or on how to influence Parliament and its members. So that means they're already doing that right now. Seems a bit off, doesn't it? And I gather that one Tory MP reported to this saying that, "What does Boris want to do? Stamp my timesheet every day?" Now, what I gather from Boris during PMQs is he wants to hand the matter over to a cross-party body to look at this, while Starmer, it seems, wants to get stuck in quickly to tear away Tory MP earnings potential. And Boris wound up his exchange with Starmer by saying that the UK was not as corrupt as other countries, so the opposition shouldn't be doing our political system down. So what's he doing? Defending the low level of corruption we've got? Forget zero carbon, how about zero corruption? Now you do have to remember that when elected, MPs will start moving amongst the wealthier sets of people, especially if they also become ministers. A wealthier set of Savile Row suited, Gucci wearing brigade. A set where 82,000 won't buy them a decent pair of shoes. So MPs might be feeling rather down at heel as they settle for an off-the-peg high street offering to wear to that big city bash with high-flying financiers and their spouses. You know, at those places where a round of drinks will set the ordinary person off the street back a month's wages or so. Although one or two MPs do look like they've been dragged through the proverbial hedge backwards and then forwards. Well, they wanted the job, didn't they? But there is a debate to be had here about the part-time nature of MPs' jobs. But this should also cover the type of constituency work undertaken by MPs, because I get the impression that they quite often stray into the purview of what councillors should be doing. How many people go to an MP as their first port of call rather than their local councillor, who may be better placed to deal with the problem? MPs may have a view on local affairs, but they do not vote in local authorities. MPs are sent to Westminster to represent their constituents' interests in the big policy areas, general taxation, defence, foreign policy and the like. So is it right for MPs to badger local councils and councillors over individual cases, or to push a planning application or a planning objection outside of what the rest of us are limited to do? Remember, MPs do not have power at a local level. So I do wonder how blurred those lines are in local politics. All because the MP wants to be re-elected and look good, even if the value added is negligible or maybe even negative. Anyway, I digress. Boris looked both shaken and stirred during PMQs, and I have to wonder if the pressure over these sleaze allegations isn't getting to him. And right now, you have to wonder if some of his own backbenchers might rather like to see the back of Boris. And now for those that missed it, our inability to forge a coherent energy security policy has left us at the mercy of gas imports, where we are seeing huge price spikes causing a worrying surge in inflation, with the Consumer Prices Index, CPI, leaping to 4.2% in the year to October. Although when using the CPI version including owner-occupier housing costs, it was only 3.8%. But it's still around twice the Bank of England 2% target. I'm wondering if the bank's Monetary Policy Committee will be tempted to raise interest rates in early December to try and head off any further inflation rises. But the Bank of England doesn't like doing that sort of thing just before Christmas, and Boris wouldn't thank them for it either. And the pound has gone up against the euro as the markets feel that an interest rate rise is in the offing. But that might have to wait until January, but February might be too late without a sizable interest rate increase. So yesterday I said that Insulating Britain were about to be sentenced for their superglue abuses. Wonder how they got on. But before I get to that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. Well, it seems that the judge was in no mood to muck about with the Irritate Britain superglue abusers who went out blocking roads in defiance of a court order. Although defiant, the nine may find out it's better to stick to the law rather than stick to the road. Dame Victoria Sharp called their actions a deliberate act of defiance to an order of the court, and handed out 2 3-month sentences, 6 4-month sentences, and 1 6-month sentence for the harm they caused and the lack of contrition they showed. And the 1 6-month sentence was because the culprit was stupid enough to say that if he wasn't sent to jail, he would go straight back out, ignore the injunction and block another road. "If you do not put me in prison," he said, "I will go out to block the motorway at the earliest opportunity. I do not regret my actions. They were proportional and entirely necessary." The judge rightly told him that was inflammatory and a call to arms. As a result, she said she was going to give him a longer term to deter him from committing further breaches. One other defendant told the judge, "I do not accept the morality of the injunction because it is meaningless in the context of climate collapse. I am proud of what we did and I am proud of my actions." Well, you can ponder on the morality and proudness while the rest of us enjoy Christmas. And one of them said rather foolishly that if imprisoned, another 10 would replace them on the roadblocks, and also that if you manage to stop all effective peaceful protest in Britain, then unfortunately things will turn violent. I'm not sure that words like this will have endeared them to the judge. Then there's the issue of the £91,000 in costs the 9 of them might have to cough up as well. As I understand it, the judge hasn't decided on that one yet. The men have been sent to HMP Pentonville and the women to HMP Bronzefield. Wonder if they'll be allowed to participate in arts and craft courses, but without the glue, of course. And that Labour lefty John McDonnell was outside the court today supporting the Insulate Britain direct action, saying, "If there hadn't been protests, we wouldn't be taking climate change seriously." Not sure his boss, Keir Starmer, would agree with him, though. He's already condemned the actions of Insulate Britain, calling their antics counterproductive tactics. And there are another 23 of these activists in the firing line for the same treatment, although many people were hoping for longer sentences. So what's your opinion on this? Please like and comment below.